So it is story time, and I have been patiently awaiting to tell this story for a few months now. Um, but everything is cleared up as of this morning, so I can finally tell this little anecdote here slash warning to any of you having to deal with doctors. So I have my calendar here on June 6th, Tuesday, June 6th, 2014, I had my sixth shot of testosterone. The doctor that the family doctor that I specifically sought out for the purpose of getting me on hormones, who prescribed me to the referred me to the endocrinologist who prescribed me testosterone. I met this doctor in October of 2013, and he immediately referred me to the endocrinologist who I met in February. This is old news. But anyway, it's not like this doctor has been my family doctor forever. I specifically sought him out because my friend had been referred to an endocrinologist through him, so I went and called him and said, hey, can I be your patient and you can refer me, and that all went smoothly. So I'm not trying to bash this doctor in any way because he literally really helped me in a way that nobody else in any city near me could have, because all of the doctors are taken. There was no doctors taking patients, and the ones that were had no idea about any trans issues at all. So this doctor was taking patients and referred me very quickly to an endocrinologist to get shit done. So I'm very grateful to that fact. But I've moved on with my life, and I no longer need him, so I moved on. So on June 6th, when I was getting my sixth shot, afterward I said, hey, can you maybe next time start to teach me how to do the shot myself? Now, silly me thinking, like, all of my friends, like, they do their own shots, and all the YouTube videos I've seen, most people just do their own shots. So I assumed that once I was comfortable with it, he would just teach me how to do it, and that would be a thing. Apparently not, because I asked him, and he just looked at me, and he was like, he said, no, that's not something I do. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he goes, no, I'm not. I'm overseeing this, so therefore I need to give you every single shot. And I said, but my dad has to take time off work to come and bring me to these appointments every 3 weeks. And it's not like I'm in there, I get the shot and get out. The waiting room time at his office was about 2 hours past my appointment time. So if my appointment was set for 11 o'clock, I would be out of there around 1:20-ish. And I'd show up at 11, obviously. So I just went, okay, you're wasting like 3 hours of my time because of the driving time and then the amount of time I have to sit in the waiting room so that I can get a shot that literally takes you a minute to inject into my butt. I don't see the logic in that. So, and then he said to me when I was telling him this, I said, look, I don't have the time to be doing this, and I'm trying to look for a job, which means I can't be taking time off work to come and see you to give me my shot when it's something I could do myself. And he said, well, with this kind of stuff, we have to be careful because people tend to overdose on this because they want their changes faster. And I just went, really? Really? You literally just said to me that I'm going to overdose on testosterone because I want changes faster, and that's why you're not going to let me do it myself. Okay, I'm done with you. I don't like when people talk to me like I'm a child, and that's what he was doing. And I went, all right. I'm like, well, all my friends do their own shots, so, and that was my parting remark, and he said, yeah, well, I don't do that, and I haven't seen him. Didn't see him again because I left, and the second I got home, like, I was fuming. I was so angry. I just really don't like it when people talk to me like I'm a little kid. I don't like it. So I went home and immediately started looking up new doctors in the area, and got in contact with the P-flag person in my city, and I emailed them and said, hey, do you know of any trans-friendly doctors that are taking patients? And then she referred me to a friend of mine, actually, which was kind of funny, because I was going to ask him the next day at the trans group that I go to anyway, but she referred me to him and gave him my email, and he emailed me, and he was like, hey, here's my doctor. Tell them I referred you. So I called them up. At this point, it was the next day because by the time I got home from the other doctor, it was too late and all the doctor's offices were closed because that's how long his waiting room time is. So the next day I called up the place and they said, oh yeah, we can do that for you, and made an appointment. And then I asked on the phone right there to the secretary, I said, will there be someone there who can teach me how to do my own shot? And she said there should be. She had personally never been asked that question because she's not a doctor, she's just the secretary. But she said, yeah, I'm sure that's fine. And then a few days before my appointment to meet the doctor, I got a call and they were like, oh yeah, the doctor just had a baby like today. So she's on mat leave for, 2 months. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? Because I still had an appointment made with the old doctor to get my shot regularly, so like 3 weeks, which was for the 24th of June. And they called me, my appointment was on the 20th of June, and they called me on the 19th to say she had delivered her baby. So I almost started crying on the phone. I was like, I really cannot go back to that doctor. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to see him. I just did not like the way that anybody in there treated me that day, because the secretaries talked to me like I was a kid as well, and I just was angry and upset and not going back there. And I said, is there anybody there who can give me my shots until I can meet this new doctor? And they're like, oh yeah, we can do that, because it's a center, it's a medical center rather than just the doctor who was privately doing his own thing. And so she's like, yeah, we can do that, that's fine. So I've been seeing the past couple months now, I've been getting my shot from one of the other doctors in that center who was covering for my new doctor. So I got all the papers switched over, all my files and stuff switched over, and today was my appointment that I scheduled on that same phone call like 2 months ago when they told me she had the baby. They said, well, she'll be back on August 20th, so you can meet her then. So I met her today. Absolutely lovely lady. She's a newer doctor, so she's younger. The other doctor was an old man, very old man, whatever, but very young female doctor, lovely person, very kind, very, just really nice. And she said that she's not very knowledgeable on, like, she's had a couple trans patients, but they've all been older, so none as young as me. And she said that the only time she's administered like testosterone shots would be to cisgender males who are much older and need extra testosterone or want extra testosterone, but she's done the same medication before just for not my situation. And but I have an endocrinologist, so she doesn't have to deal with any of the prescription crap, because she wouldn't be comfortable doing that, but it's fine because I have an endocrinologist to do all that for me. And yeah, I told her about like top surgery and stuff and how she'll have to fill out forms and things like that, and she was perfectly fine with it. And then I dropped the question and I was like, hey, do you think you could teach me how to do my own shot? And she said, oh yeah, no problem. And I said, like, really? And she goes, yeah, that's fine, there's no big deal. And I said, because that's the reason I switched doctors. My other doctor told me flat out that he would never let me do it, that he had to give me every single shot. And she said, I have no idea why he would say that, because she's like, there's really no science behind giving a shot. You literally just, like, this is an intramuscular shot, so there is a certain way you have to do it. But she's like, as long as you're not nauseous or scared or anything, you can just do it yourself. It'll be fine. So yeah, my next shot is on Monday, actually, so I'll be seeing her in a couple days and hopefully teaching myself how to do it. But so that was the big predicament I was in, and I haven't been able to really talk about it because I wasn't going to talk about it before I had talked to the new doctor to make sure for sure that she could teach me how to do it. And I will be updating on like needles and where I'm getting needles and shit, because I haven't figured that out yet either. So that was that. So my advice would be, do not assume. Please ask before you get involved with people, because I assumed that he would be fine. I just assumed that I would be taught how to do it, and that was not the case. Now, everybody I've told this story to has said the same thing, and I knew the same thing. The doctor's making money from my appointments. Doctors in Ontario make money based on how many appointments they have. So me coming in every 3 weeks for literally a minute is the best money maker that guy could have. And since he was not in the center, it was just him, and then his wife was the secretary. It was a money thing, because there's no benefit for him if I was doing my own shot, because he'd be completely removed from the situation and therefore making zero money off of me. Whereas me coming in every 3 weeks for a minute means that's a whole extra appointment that lasts a minute. So that means that he can fit in so many more people, and then he makes just as much money off of me as he does on someone who has a 20-minute appointment. So basically, he had his best interest in mind and did not care about my situation. Was not, his solution to my issue was, well, you could come in the morning rather than the afternoon. And I said, that doesn't defeat the purpose of me still having to travel to your office to get a 1-minute shot every 3 weeks. And then when I get my dose more, then I'll have to come in even more often. And he said, well, there's nothing I can do. And I said, see ya. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Questions, comments, video topics. Video topics would be great. Or just questions that I could make into video topics would be great. So thank you for watching, and I will see you later.